Well, hello, good people. Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to say thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report. Without you guys, as well as you ladies, you know that this literally does not work. By now, I've been up early this morning here and been doing some research here in Joe Boo Studios. We have lost Tyron Smith for several months. It sounds like it is a grade 3 hamstring tear, which will sideline him for the majority of the season while he recovers from this. Basically, hopefully there's no surgery needed on it, but typically it's going to be rest on that hamstring just to let it heal. The Cowboys now have a conundrum of what their plan is going to be moving forward. The Cowboys could just move Tyler Smith to tackle and call it a day there and say Connor McGovern is our starting guard and go there. The problem with that, of course, is Connor McGovern, I don't think is that great of a guard. And you've had Tyler Smith literally working all offseason basically as the guard. We're going to be exploring the pros and cons of some of the guys that are possible for the Cowboys to go out and sign. The big name, especially my man, the mailman delivers, of course, who's been saying for a while we should sign Eric Fisher. Eric Fisher, who has got a Super Bowl ring from the Kansas City Chiefs, is still a free agent out there. Let's explore a little bit about Eric Fisher and find out why he is still a free agent, because he has been a Pro Bowl tackle for a couple of years, again, blocking for Kansas City and so on. He ended up signing a one-year deal with the Colts last year. Forgive me, I'm a little bit upset at the moment, knowing that Tyron Smith is out for the next several months and that the blind side of the Dallas Cowboys is now going to be left up to a rookie or a second-year player who is not in really great shape. So this is one of those things that definitely hurts. The contract that was signed by Eric Fisher last year going to the Colts was a one-year, $8 million contract with $6 million guaranteed, making him an unrestricted free agent this year. So the question is, if he did well last year, why didn't the Colts re-sign him? In fact, why did Kansas City end up letting him go? Well, if we actually go, and I started doing a little research here, looking at the injury history of Eric Fisher, you can actually look this stuff up. It's amazing how much information is out there. They literally have the odds, percentage chances of injury in 2022. Right now, they don't have any chance of injury per game. They don't have any percentages or anything like that. But we've had him miss a concussion back in 2013, shoulder injury in 2013. Fisher missed the wild card round because of postseason. He underwent offseason surgery on a groin muscle strain in 2015, neck strain in 2015, and for the next 4 years, no major injuries. The groin injury, suffers a groin injury in 2019, and then 2021, grade 3 Achilles heel. And that's when Kansas City let him go because he tore that before the AFC Championship game and was out for the Super Bowl. So that's when he left Kansas City. Here's an interesting piece to this. I was going through and I found this article because there's a lot of teams who have issues right now in the offensive line. I've been talking about how many injuries there have been to Tampa Bay's offensive line, which has been decimated by injuries. And we've been talking for a while from a couple of weeks ago when Tyron Smith first had the ankle injury that the Cowboys need to start looking at swing tackle because Josh Ball had not been looking very good in that position. And Matt Lewinsky has had the shoulder issue where he has not been able to practice, where they thought that he may need to get surgery and shut it down. Found this article here because just a couple of days ago, Pittsburgh Steelers, their offensive line looked like crap. And, of course, the panic button goes out. And, of course, you always reach for the names that you know, and Eric Fisher is a guy, it's a name that you know. Here's a great article. This is what I ended up finding. Let's go into this a little bit. Many have made the cries known on Twitter, pleading to Pittsburgh to address the O-line by any means necessary prior to the start of the 22 regular season. One name that has brought up and is floated around this offseason, a potential fit for Pittsburgh, is offensive tackle Eric Fisher. Many analysts and other entries have suggested Fisher as a possibility to help shore up the offensive line, given his status as a former #1 overall pick in 2013 draft and a two-time Pro Bowler who played Kansas City for 8 seasons before tearing his Achilles tendon in 2020. Fisher then signed with the Indianapolis Colts in 2021 season, playing and starting 15 games. Okay, so from the information you got there, okay, all right, he tore his Achilles, but he played for 15 games last year. All right, so he made it through the whole season. Here's where the meat of this article actually comes in. Still, while it can easily be associated with any name, with any team that has a glaring need at the position, context is needed. The Colts decided not to bring back Fisher after the 2021 season since he dealt with a slow ramp-up period coming off the Achilles tendon, and dealt with the knee and pec injuries down the stretch, which were mentioned by Colts GM Chris Ballard at the NFL Combine. However, Ballard did note that Fisher had a 7-game stretch during the season where he played vintage Eric Fisher football back to his Kansas City days, as evident by his pass blocking win rate of at least 87 in each of the past 4 years. So, their issue, okay, and, you know, they ended up getting rid of Carson Wentz, and Washington seems to think that was a great, Washington seems to think that was a great thing for them because they believe he's still a really good quarterback. The Colts look and figure that they can do better. So part of the problem for him last year was, again, coming back from the torn Achilles tendon. So that has healed. But, of course, he did have the knee injury going down the stretch and a pectoral injury. And, unfortunately, the thing about players as they get older is you're going to have more injuries. But they did say when he was healthy, those 7-game stretch definitely was a good vintage he played well those 7 games. So it may be worth a shot to check him out to see, has he healed from the pec injury as well as the knee injury, and it's got to be better than what we have with Josh Ball. And maybe you look at this and say, he might miss some time, he may not be great, but at this moment, you know, maybe you get back Tyron Smith in 3 months. Right now, we've got 15 days before this, 16 days. So that's half a month right there. You've got September and October. That gets you 2.5 months. So maybe we're talking about mid-November that maybe Tyron Smith is back, and maybe Eric Fisher buys you time until then. Cost-wise, you know, we're looking at $8 million is what he was paid last year. Maybe the Cowboys can, you know, get a deal done because this is so close to the season with him. He sounds like, and let's be clear here, if a player is a really good player and there aren't some question marks on him, they're on a team right now. There's not a lot of great players and great options that are out there. Maybe you'll get some guys that'll be okay because a team may have, you know, a multitude of players. We look at it and say, you know, if Carlos Watkins is released by our team because we have so many tackles, that he will probably get picked up by somebody because he's played well the last couple of years. Maybe you find somebody that's like that, but you've got to be proactive right now because we're talking about the blind side of a $40 million a year investment. And we're talking about the linchpin for a season. This is the thing that bugs me about the Cowboys is we never think ahead on what might happen with a situation like this. And unfortunately, there's not a lot of options. We'll dig into, you know, as I've just done here with Eric Fisher, we'll look at Jason Peters as well as Nate Soldier and some of the other options that are possibly out there. and see what might be the best one. I believe at the moment, experience-wise, and at least the amount of mileage on that, you're probably looking at Eric Fisher being maybe the best option. I'm Mark Holmes, and well, this is not how I plan to start my day today, figuring who is going to be the replacement for Tyron Smith. But it's what we got to do.
Mark Holmes here, and as always, I want to thank you all for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being part of the Joe Boo Sports Report.
You did one hell of a job, and the only thing else I got to say is, how about them Cowboys? Yeah!